The Truth of Girls.
Hi everyone, it's Truth of Girl Sonia here. And a while ago I did a video saying that there were some problems with Gunnar, my son here, who's here with me today. There were some problems with Gunnar at school, that he had hit a teacher, a CCW, actually a childcare worker, and he'd been suspended for a couple of days. And I said we were supposed to have a meeting on Monday and I would get back to you. But I didn't get back to you because the meeting was postponed because I wanted to have some support there. Social worker, ISD worker. And so what happened in between was I took my son out of school temporarily. So you've been home with me for a couple of weeks now, right? And yesterday we had the meeting. And so I just want to give you an update on what transpired. What transpired was you have 6 kids there who have a lot of troubles with their behavior, and I think the class is a little understaffed. You think? I mean, what happens when sometimes like one of the kids is having a big meltdown? Who's taking care of the other kids? How many people for the other kids? 0. So it's just that, wait, don't shake the chair because it squeaks so much, please. So you just have the teacher and the childcare worker. And if someone,
the teacher's always doing work.
Teacher's doing work, and if one of the kids is having a big meltdown, like what happened when I was there a couple times, who's taking care of the other kids?
No one. And usually one meltdown creates another one, which creates another one, and then the whole class.
It's true, chain reaction, because one of them has like a self-regulation meltdown where he gets overwhelmed, he starts freaking out. Then there are 2 kids that scream a lot because they get freaked out by that, and they're screamers. And then there's Gunnar and his friend, they tend to just get wound up. So you can imagine. And the other thing was, we talked about like you can't use physical force, like pulling or like pushing the door if he's pulling it, this kind of thing. Find another way to do it. Now, do I touch you when I'm trying to get you to do stuff? No. Do I pull you around? Or like push you into the room? Or like do I pull on the door? No. So how come? How come with me I don't do that, and yet we do get everything done, don't we? Yeah. Well, I think that one reason is that we have a good relationship. Hey, does that help? And you trust me. And do you feel like you trust your teacher, your childcare worker? No. Because that makes it harder. That's number 1. You have to have a relationship. And 2, what do I do if you're really misbehaving? Do I come closer and like try to get in there? No? What do I do?
Back off and let me come down.
That's right, I do back off. Lest you surmise that this means that I don't intervene at all and I let him do whatever he wants, I want to make it clear that I do intervene. I use strategies, but they don't include physical force or encroaching on his personal space. And I'll cover those strategies some other time. I do back off and give him space because he's got skill.
If I'm melting down, then you ask me if I need food.
But yeah, well, you're rarely melting down with me, except like if you get really hungry, really overstimulated. But what happens though, like he's got some skills because we've been working on this for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. So what if you go into a mall and you start getting really upset and like, and you want to stay in the store, and I'm telling you, you need to leave. You don't want to leave. I'll tell you, Gunnar, you're getting overloaded. You need to step out a bit, right? And you understand that. And I'm going to do that way before it gets to the point of a meltdown. And I also talk to you a lot about you need to make sure if you're hungry or something else, right? And he has some skills for that now, to be aware of his own needs. And the other thing was for regulating himself. What happens if you're in the house, you get really, really, really angry, really upset? And I don't get in there, right? I back off. And what's going to happen if I back off? Where are you going to go? On the bed? No, what are you going to do?
Stay there.
He's just going to get some space and calm himself down. So this is what we do. And the thing is, at school, of course, they got 7 kids. It's hard to let him have space. He'd like to go in the room next door. But that room is also still kind of really noisy, right?
Yeah, and they also lock me out.
Come here.
When I go in the other room.
Come here. They can't see you.
When I go in the other room, they lock me out.
So does that make you more upset?
And then when I come down, I'm not allowed to come in, and they just block the door.
The other thing is sometimes they talk about you're trying to leave that room and go out the back door. So they can't let him go out on the street
I never tried to do that.
But they think that. I think they panic a little. Their principal's convinced you're going to like leave and then like they're going to have to pick you up on the highway somewhere. I say that it's good to give them space. They find it hard to do in this class. I agree, but still they can give him more space than they do. They tend to really encroach, really get in his personal space, and this really triggers him. It might work with an NT kid to like be closer, but for him it's just like, it's like pushing the button. So that was a big issue that we have to work on, and the childcare worker in particular, that seems to be her first and only instinct, is to get in there, and we saw it. He was trying to get back in the room and he was blocking the door with his foot, and she didn't just like hold the door so he can't push it open, but she was like forcing it to try to close it on him. But a lot of this can be avoided if the class could be much more structured, and if it could be calmer, and if the kids have, well, my son anyway, has more chance to regulate himself, which he can do by removing himself from the trigger, except that they won't give him any place to go to remove himself. Except for the room next door, which, like you said, they lock him in there, and it's still really noisy, and, you know, that, I don't know, we're trying to figure out. But as far as the structure goes, there's a few things that they need to improve. And one, for example, was I said, well, are you using any kind of like token economy or point system or motivators? Like, what are you doing to get better behavior compliance? And they were like, yeah, we have a point system. They get points all week and they get a prize on Wednesday. So that's not going to work because that's way too long range. And she was surprised when I said the payout has to be immediate. I mean, at least some of it. What they're doing would work with NT kids. It's not going to work with kids with ASD. That, you know, you get these points and then Wednesday you find out what you get. And then what was the other problem was the prizes, Gunnar. What were the prizes?
Pencils.
Pencils, erasers, and sharpeners. Are those really great prizes?
Oh, they're horrible.
They're not motivating.
They also have chips, but it's like nothing that lasts.
Well, the kids
There's
are...
nothing worth getting.
Nothing that's motivating. The kids are not motivated. Well, not my son. He's not motivated to work for erasers and pencils and like a bag of chips.
Keep building up points, then.
Yeah. What do you do with your points?
I save them up. I just save them up because if I'm able to save them up, I'll just save them up.
And what happens if you save them up, though? Nothing.
And you're only allowed to buy 2 things, and you can't buy more than 2 things.
So why are you saving them up?
It's instinct. Like how much I save up my jar, and I never spend anything.
Yeah. So well, it's just like, it's whatever it is. It's not working. So that's a couple things. You know, they need to give him more space. They were telling me that they like to come really close to when they have to redirect him because they don't want the other kids to hear what they're saying. But really, Gunnar doesn't care if everybody else hears. He would
care and they don't care.
He would prefer to have more space. But what I saw when I came down there was it was pretty chaotic. It very quickly got out of control. When I was talking to the teacher and there's only one CCW for all the other kids, it pretty quickly, like 2 of them were screaming, my son and his friend are getting rowdy, and like it pretty quickly escalated. And I've seen him do a lot better with more structure, but more than what they have here. And the reward system, it has to be really tight. There has to be payouts. I'm going to do another video about what actually has worked in the past. But let's say for now, they're going to make a few adjustments. Do me a favor, just don't shake the bag, okay? Please. They're going to make a few adjustments. And he is going to go back. And I think you want to do well. He says he does. I don't think you want to hit anybody. I know you can't see him, but he just said no. He doesn't want to hit anyone. Like, I don't think he enjoys being so out of control either. And I don't want to put in, okay, here are the other options. Homeschooling, it's not going to work. It's not that I don't have the skills as an educator. It's just that I have too much to do because I work. I've got a lot of stuff to deal with. And I just don't think he would be well served because, yes, I could do like an hour of tutoring, but then he'd have to come with me while I'm working. And a lot of time he'll just be like on a TV or media or something. I don't really think that's good. And I don't want to send him to the autism schools at this point because they don't give academic credit. Gunnar is very, very intelligent, and I just think it would be a waste because I tend to think this is going to get better as he gets older. Maybe I'll explain about that in another video too. Are you leaving? Come here. You want to say goodbye? Come here. Come here. Anyway, I don't have these kind of problems at home with him. We're not talking about aggression. Things move a little slow. There's a lot of like redirecting and stuff that has to happen, but on the whole, like, we manage it. We don't. I don't have these kind of problems. I used to.
Mom, where's my ginger? My ginger. I need my ginger.
It's in the bag somewhere. Or it's out there. I used to have this kind of problems they have at school until I found out what to do about it. Anyway, I gave the school some tips, and they have another guy coming in, and maybe that's going to help.
He's already there.
They're talking about also, they're also talking about some kind of after-school therapy. The problem with that is it's really far. I don't have a car, so I don't know how that's going to work. And so he's going to go back Monday, and I think the key thing is for them to give him more space, and they have to have better structure in the class, and they should have an extra worker. Those are the things. I mean, that's probably the best we can do right now. So just, keep us in your prayers. I still believe something good is going to come out of all this, and Gunner's going to be okay. Just keep us in your prayers, and hopefully there'll be a lot of improvements when he goes back. So I guess that's it for now. Thanks for giving me a thumbs up, and thank you for your support on Patreon, because it's you who's keeping me able to do YouTube at all. So, and well, that's it. Thanks for listening to me, and God bless, and I'll see you next time.